Good Friday morning. It's July 10th, 2020. I'm Guy McPherson of Nature Bats Last, GuyMcPherson.com, with a few headlines and an update as the stock markets open in the United States. First of all, from MarketWatch, European stocks rise, but focus remains on coronavirus pandemic spread. One of the reasons I provide these daily updates is because with a PhD minor in economics and an entire adult lifetime as a conservation biologist, I understand the connection between economic activity and the environment. So if the system slows, if industrial activity is reduced by as little as 20%, then we can expect a rapid 1 degree Celsius global average rise in temperature. And one of the results of that will be loss of habitat for many species because of the very rapid rate of environmental change. So that's why this is important. That's why as European stocks rise, but, quote, focus remains on coronavirus pandemic spread, well, MarketWatch knows why the focus remains on the coronavirus pandemic spread. The greater it spreads, the more people are impacted, the greater is going to be the impact on industrial activity in a negative way, and that could well cause loss of habitat for our species and, as a result, all others on Earth. If you don't understand the relationship between human activity and habitat for other species, then you've clearly not been paying attention to GuyMcPherson.com for a very long time. From MarketWatch, Dow futures under pressure to end the week as investors take stock of coronavirus recovery. In other words, investors are paying attention to the recovery, the so-called recovery from the coronavirus, as if there will be any sort of recovery. I mean, there will be, and there has been, before the second wave and the third, because previous pandemics have involved a second wave and a third. So that's exactly what we can expect in this case. And a reduction in industrial activity, again, will produce untoward effects for our species and many others. From Bloomberg, patients swamp Sunbelt hospitals with COVID-19 on a rampage. Seems we haven't really slowed things down yet, in part because Americans are so reluctant to take the simple advice of wearing a mask. Oh, I can't breathe, they say, the people who are averse to wearing masks, as if physicians in hospitals wearing masks for 6 hours can't breathe well enough to do their surgery tasks. But I get off on a rant, sorry. From the Washington Post this morning, calls grow for a second shutdown from reasonably rational people who are concerned about people's lives today. Right now, the people who are dying all around this country at an enormously increasing rate, still increasing with the first wave. Yes, there is a concern that we should shut down industrial activity. Again, that's good news in the near term and not so great news in the moderate term, which some people might view as the near term, meaning months or several months. That's the kind of time frame we're talking about when we're talking about loss of human habitat. From Reuters, IEA, that's the International Energy Agency, IEA raises 2020 oil demand forecast, but warns COVID-19 clouds outlook. Yes, COVID-19 is clouding the outlook for a lot of things these days. It's a major focus of people interested in industrial activity, in the economy, and more importantly, in the lives of people affected and not yet affected by the coronavirus. All right, so here we are at 9:32 Eastern Time, coming to you from Central Florida, and the stock markets are opening barely higher than they finished yesterday, with the Dow up 16 points and the broader and secondary markets following suit. Again, I continue to look for the link between industrial activity and what's happening with the environment. Because I understand the stock market at least a little bit, I recognize that that rigged game might not necessarily be linked tightly to industrial activity. On the other hand, If industrial activity goes down, it surely will be reflected in the stock markets, not only in the United States, but around the world. So there you have it, the links and the absence thereof as stock markets continue to remain relatively disconnected from reality. Stay tuned next week for further updates and have a great weekend.